When fears come in and flood your mind, when you think you're going down, when you think you're not going to make it, when you think you're going to fail God, or you've not measured up, when the enemy comes in and tells you that you're unworthy, you're unholy, you're no good, you'll never get it. What do you do when the enemy comes in like a flood? You see, the Lord raises up a standard. Let me show you what that standard is. Look at verse 1. The Lord reigneth. He is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. And he's put on his armor and set for battle. You have to have a clear vision that your Lord and Savior is standing by. His eyes on your flood, his eyes on you. You have to have a clear vision of what God has promised here. I've not ignored you. I see where you're at. I see what you're going through. Look at me, he says. I have girded myself. I put on my armor. I have my sword in hand. And then read what it says, verse 4. The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, yea, than the mighty waves of the sea. God says, get your eyes off the flood, get it on me. I've got my sword in hand. I am more powerful. I am mightier than all your floods. I'm bigger than all your fears. Get your eyes off your fears. He said, I've girded myself. That hit me. I could hardly sleep. I picture my Lord standing over me, sword in hand. He knows how far it can go and no farther. He'll come and slay the Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. What would you think are the two most common words that Christians use when they're in a panic or in a crisis? Do something. Do something, Lord. It's absolutely against human nature to stand still and do nothing when there's a crisis and there's trouble and difficulty on all hands. And probably the most difficult thing for even Christians is to stand still and wait for God to act. To stand still to see the salvation of the Lord. Even the most devoted of Christians panic when God doesn't move according to their time schedule. We're always giving God dates. We're always giving him a time limit. Lord, if you don't do it by now or by tomorrow or by next week, it's too late. God is never too late, and he's going to do it not on your schedule, not on mine. He's going to do it on his own schedule. But God has always been searching the earth for those who will trust him in their crisis, in every trial, and especially when it seems hopeless. And he will lead us, listen closely, he will lead us into situations that are alarming, that are critical, that seem hopeless, to test us. The devil has nothing to do with it at all. It's God leading into the crisis. The Bible states fairly clearly, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, Psalms 37:23. And that in Hebrew is prearranged, step by step, fixed, ordained by God. I'm going to tell you something. I believe that every step that I take is prearranged by my Father. Every step that I take is ordered by the Lord. Now, if I believe that, if I'm in a crisis, if I'm in a very, very difficult situation, he's led me there. Because he doesn't stop for a moment while he says, well, you're about to go into a trial. I direct you up to this point. You're on your own now. He directs me into it, through it, and out of it. The steps of a good man, and we are good only by the blood of Jesus anyhow. There's no goodness in us. A good man made righteous through the blood of Jesus Christ is her steps ordered by the Lord. God's Word is filled with examples of this. And by the way, it's hard to accept. Think about it for a minute. It's very, very hard to accept this concept that the most difficult, critical times in your life have been prearranged by the Lord. That they are His doing. And folks, when you begin to see that and accept it and understand it, then you're halfway through your problem.
As Ministries, we are glad you came to hang out with us today. We are doing an open panel, but in addition to doing an open panel, we're going to do some video review. We're going to be reviewing one of the episodes of the documentary I did on Kent Hovind called Unmasking Kent Hovind. We're going to be reviewing episode 3. Yes, episode 3, which is Free Kent Hovind. So if you guys have any questions, or if you want to come onto the panel and pose some questions or challenge any points in the video, today would be your time to do so. So come on in. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the video so that I can share it with you guys. And I hope you enjoy it because I put a lot of effort into it. And I think that it's pretty good. So let's see here. Share my screen. There we go. All right. We can do this. One of the most terrifying things on the face of the earth is when Americans are united. Mountains can be moved when Americans are united. Nations can be conquered when Americans are united. Culture can be changed overnight whenever Americans are united.
To just side with the prosecution.
Causes is something that Americans thrive on. There's nothing more American itself than to be behind and rallying for a good cause. One of these causes that many Americans, evangelical Americans, found worth rallying behind was hashtag Free Kent, or hashtag Free Kent Hovind. Free Kent Hovind movement took off like a storm. It became so embedded in the culture of the United States that you could rarely drive down the road without spotting Free Kent signs in someone's front yard, or Free Kent bumper stickers on somebody's tailgate. It was very hard to drive around town or even attend church without spotting a neighbor or a friend with a Free Kent t-shirt. Christians, believers of all different denominations, rallied behind the fact that Kent Hovind was thrown into jail unjustly. Kent Hovind was already a household name. What the government didn't anticipate, however, is that they would actually, ignorantly at that, turn Kent Hovind from a household name to a Christian martyr with a lot of pull. They also didn't realize that they were literally creating a monster. Because every believer in their heart who was aware of the Free Kent situation, the Free Kent movement, knew that Kent Hovind was put away as an example to believers. Kent Hovind was done wrong to show other Christians of the persecution that could come their way if we did not lie down, show the government our bellies, and expose ourselves as afraid and submissive. Kent Hovind became a battle cry. Free Kent almost developed into the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. The Free Kent movement was more than just a pastor who was wrongfully incriminated and put behind bars to try to forget. The Free Kent movement was a reminder that once the government starts arresting and putting away people that are in the top 10 famous Christians in the US, the government can do that to anyone. See, once our religious leaders are persecuted falsely and people stand by and let it happen, that'll become the norm. I think what the government didn't anticipate was the fact that there would be so much outcry. There would be so many phone calls. There would be so many protests outside of courthouses. I think that government workers forgot that we, the people, could still pull together. I actually think that the government workers thought that we, the people, was no longer a community that could be counted on. Those government workers were wrong. Not only did Americans show out en masse to vocalize the fact that we knew our beloved Vindicator was getting the royal shaft, citizens of this country sent out a resounding sound wave to all representatives that we the people are still alive, that we the people have our eyes on them, and that we the people are not so far past and beyond rallying together for a cause like Free Kent.
Yeah. So technically, yeah, I was like, about it. I was down. I was ride or die. I was like, I'll go with you and do this shit. Like, I'll go murder. I'll go take out a. I don't think that's murder.
So it was Chris. It wasn't Kent Hovind.
Well, I don't know. My suspicion is that Mark Stoney wants to kill Chris Jones and Kent, but it doesn't make sense if he's protecting Chris. So maybe he doesn't want to kill Chris.
It is odd. Just Kent.
Steven.
Uh-huh.
Mark hates Kent Hovind.
What do we got there, Joseph? Turned down for what? I don't know.
Sunflower, you got it, okay. That doesn't prove they're related to pigs. The public school textbook show these family trees with everything related to the pig and the sunflower. They have a common grandpa. That's called stupid. Sunflowers teach a great lesson. You can learn something amazing from a sunflower.
The Free Kent movement was something that was felt generations after the fact, again, when Donald Trump was running for president. It was a passion and a zeal, a patriotic sense of duty a believer's sense of martyrdom. Kent Hovind started so many fads that go under the radar and he will never get credit for or acknowledgement. Kent Hovind is a household name for many reasons. He is a household name for Dinosaur Adventureland. Kent Hovind is a household name for being among the most famous creation vindicators in the world. Kent Hovind is a household name for men who would stand up to the government and tell them, you are not entitled to what's God's. But I think the thing that made Kent Hovind the biggest name is Free Kent Hovind. Let's go check that out.
This is Kent Hovind. It is the May 23rd, 2015, and I wanted to share what's going on with my situation. I'm still wearing an orange jumpsuit, obviously, still in the Santa Rosa County Jail, and I should have gone home Monday. Here's the situation. Let me explain how it works for everybody so you know who to call and what to do. In 2007, Congress passed a law called the Second Chance Act, which says if a person's in prison for the first time and it's nonviolent, they can be given 6 months home confinement off the end of their sentence.
Alright, so let's just recap so we're all on the same page. Kent Hovind is being held in the United States as a religious political prisoner under the farce of structuring a crime which, as described in great detail on the previous episode, we've explained almost every American in the United States is guilty of. It's a law that they use to catch drug dealers, but that actually, in terminology, absolutely applies to all Americans. There's no way around it. So we can see the abuse of power taking place. We can start to draw a picture of why. We showed how dangerous DVD number 5 was to the establishment, which, by the way, run the biggest pedophile ring in the world.
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do. Could you please give us your name? Jeffrey Epstein.
This has been drawn through conclusions leading to Jeffrey Epstein. That has been pointing fingers back to the Clinton administration since the 90s. None of this is new. However, it is all now becoming mainstream. The first tip of the exposure of these demonic people engaged in these sex trafficking rings of children, the first exposures were done by God Himself as retaliation for the persecution of one of His anointed, Kent Hovind.
What you're learning tonight is very disturbing.
Yes, an assistant U.S. attorney from Florida finds himself on the wrong side of the law tonight. He's accused of going after a 5-year-old girl from right here in Metro Detroit.
The intended victim is from Macomb County.
Dr. Kent Hovind has spent the last 8 years in prison for things he didn't do. Charged with structuring a law which the IRS has since apologized for and changed their policies regarding, yet all the while, Dr. Hovind was in prison. For those who are not following the latest court case, Kent was put back on trial with the same judge, Judge Margaret Rogers, who put him away for 8 years on bogus charges. Now the retrial of Dr. Hovind. They have once again thrown bogus charges at him, all of which, except for one, have not stuck.
Okay, it's March 12th. Here's the verdicts as the jury read them. Kent E. Hovind, he had 4 counts against him. Count 1, conspiracy to commit mail fraud, unable to come to a verdict. Count 2, mail fraud, unable to come to a verdict. Count 3, criminal contempt of court, guilty. Count 4, mail fraud, unable to come to a verdict. So basically, Kenny Hovind was found guilty of criminal contempt of court, and that was it. The rest of them were unable to come to a verdict. However, criminal contempt of court, as per my understanding, has an unlimited maximum sentence. So with this particular judge, that's a tough situation, and we'll have to wait and see. She put the sentencing for Kenny Hovind Friday, June the 12th, 2015 at 9 a.m. Anything else anybody wants to say?
You might want to say that the Kent Hovind's criminal contempt of court was from a June 2007 order.
Right. If I understand,
which was barely discussed during the whole proceeding.
Right.
I didn't even know it had a second contempt
Right.
of court. I just knew the 2012. I didn't know anything about 2007. I was there for most of the trial.
Right.
Right now it is being deliberated whether Dr. Hovind will once again return to prison for charges which have no limited sentence. What that means is the judge can arbitrarily assign any amount of time she wants to Dr. Hovind for contempt of court, something that occurred back in 2007, when all he was doing was attempting to fight against the charges against him.
Yes, we need to get as many letters as we can to the defense attorney, Thomas Keith, here in Pensacola, Florida. They need to be addressed to the judge and sent care of Thomas Keith.
Amen.
And
Amen.
support of Kent.
And should we also write Mr. Miller, the congressman?
I would recommend that we all write Jeff Miller.
Okay.
Any of the congressional leadership here.
Okay.
We need to be contacting them and putting as much pressure as we can on for a pardon.
Amen.
See, the establishment thought that putting Kent Hovind in prison for 10 years would stop Kent Hovind. But they were wrong. Being in prison did not stop Kent Hovind from witnessing. Kent Hovind led almost 800 men to the Lord.
Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Kent Hovind testing out a new camera. This is going to be a short one. Hopefully we'll be able to get all the techno stuff worked out where this will be even better quality. You can see all the stuff in the background and everything. Thank you so much, Max, for the new camera and tripod and everything. Appreciate you. I got a letter in the mail yesterday, I believe. Carl Heath was one of the prisoners I led to the Lord while I was in the hole in Yazoo City, Mississippi. I never met him. We were talking through the air conditioning vent, and he was just very ready and anxious to know the Lord, and amazing opportunity there to witness through the AC vent while we're both in solitary confinement, or at least in the hole. Here's a letter that he sent me. And if you'd like to write to him, I think it'd be a great blessing. This is going to be a real short video because it is a test of the new camera system. Okay. Dear Brother Kent, I pray that you and your family are doing well. I want to thank you for saving my soul. Technically, it was the Lord saved him, not me. Okay, I can't save anybody. I walked away from being a Mormon. You opened my eyes. By the way, we did talk a lot about Mormonism through the vent there. You opened my eyes in so many ways. God bless you. I read the Bible each day now. Today, I read about how we become increasingly aware of our sinfulness and weakness. How I know and see now that I walk with the Lord when I do sin, I see it and feel bad. The few letters I did get from people has been a blessing. Please, could you put my address on YouTube? Getting letters of the Word of God not only puts a smile on my face, but helps me so much with reading my Bible. I don't know if you heard the good news, but I will be out of the hole next month and on my way to a new prison. I am so done with the old life and the things I was doing. This September of 2015, September 7th, is 4 years of being sober from all drugs. Smiley face. It feels good, and I know that with God's help, please keep my family in your prayers as I will do the same for you. God bless you. Take care.
Being in prison for 10 years, they thought would stop Kent Hovind from baptizing people. It didn't. Kent Hovind baptized hundreds and hundreds of men in the faith as new believers. They thought putting Kent Hovind away for 8 to 10 years would stop the spread of his materials, but it didn't. Homeschooling groups spread his material around like hotcakes.
The more you
study about what's happening in the world, in the New World Order coming soon, just read Psalms 2. It'll calm you right down. It's a good tranquilizer. The kings of the earth set themselves, the rulers take counsel together against the Lord, against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. God is laughing at their plans for a new world order.
I think our nation is under attack from an invader that's riding our lap. It's not Iran or Iraq, and in fact, it's an inside plan and an organized trap. No other country that I'd rather be than the US of A, the land of the free, the home of the brave. But what can I say? It seems like our freedoms are melting away as each generation becomes more complacent, lazy and ignorant, scared, independent, afraid to be bold and stand for what's right, enslaved and controlled and frozen with fright. The only thing needed for evil to prosper is those who know better, unwilling to stop it. United we stand, divided we fall. It's time we demand that these problems got solved. As a nation, there's anticipation. We're praying for justice and exoneration. We've been waiting and we've been patient. Now we demand whole vindication. On the edge as a nation, there's anticipation. We're praying for justice and exoneration. We've been waiting and we've been patient. Now we demand whole vindication. These government agents forgetting their servants, abusing their powers, it makes people nervous. And now we see riots against cops and judges, a rush to pass judgment with all that it touches. They imprison people for victimless crimes, then lobby with unions to rob them all blind. Just think for a minute if all of their tickets to standing by all of us driving the speed limit depended on inmates to finance the system, incentives to keep them locked up in the prison. Now what would they do if no one broke laws and all of us just sat and sang kumbaya? I ask you to wonder and ponder these questions. How far would they go to maintain job protection? Breeds us seduction that feeds us corruption, and most of us all sit around and do nothing. As a nation, there's anticipation. We're praying for justice and exoneration. We've been waiting and we've been patient. Now we demand whole vindication. On the edge as a nation, there's anticipation. We're praying for justice and exoneration. We've been waiting and we've been patient. Now we demand whole vindication. Creating criminals, losing our sovereignty. Prisons with interest in human commodities. Placed inside cages for ages and ages. Creating wages that pay for the mace that they spray in the faces of people. They tase as they place face first on the pavement and raise. Creating an atmosphere like a disease. But we need to remember there's real police. That there's heroes protecting us daily with valor. Respecting our rights to protest and gather. Let's all stand together exposing the frauds. The ones in control behind the facade. Then maybe, just maybe, we'll take back the reins and regain the power and clean out the cage. Creating a nation ran by the people, acknowledging God with all of us equal. As a nation, there's anticipation. We're praying for justice and exoneration. We've been waiting and we've been patient. Now we demand whole vindication. On the edge as a nation, there's anticipation. We're praying for justice and exoneration. We've been waiting and we've been patient. Now we demand whole vindication.
He really kicked this whole, what's the proper role of government? Should the IRS be here? And was very outspoken about that. And somebody took one of his tapes, sent it to the IRS and said, this guy is a tax protester. And that's what actually kind of started a whole investigation on Kent Hovind. Because of the stance he was taking, and because of the nature of his just, listen, I'm not breaking the law, and there's nothing you can do about it, stance, that he was made a target by the government. Made a target by the government. Made a target by the government.
There was no stopping it. They created a monster. The wicked establishment, the corrupt swamp, created a monster. They found the right charismatic Southern gentleman. They found the right Baptist pastor with a backbone and spine of steel. They just picked the wrong day. That was their mistake. And they picked someone that was charming enough to unite people behind a movement. Something we haven't really seen in a political politician even since, let's be honest, Ronald Reagan. There's few people that Americans will get out of their house for in this day and age and rally outside a courthouse in front of the government in the rain. People did it for Kent Hovind. I believe people would do it again today for Kent Hovind. See, the government made a huge mistake. They overlooked the fact that people know he's innocent.
Alright guys, I had to go to Fry's to get a computer because mine stopped working. And my wife, she's putting freaking Hovind on all the laptops. So anybody that walks by gets to see freaking Hovind. You got him going, babe?
Our internet is very slow.
Freaking Hovind.
They overlooked the fact that creationists are loyal supporters. They overlooked the fact that Kent Hovind is God's anointed, and that there is a hedge of protection around him, that no matter what flames come flying in the form of an arrow from the enemy, Kent Hovind has a hedge of protection around him. He will be protected. He will be safe. He will continue on the gospel. Put him in prison, he'll lead 800 prisoners to the Lord. And when he gets out, he'll reestablish a ministry and he'll get right back to work. Another thing that the government didn't anticipate is that Kent Hovind would fuel a plethora of small creation ministries, including my own. Kent Hovind has made a significant dent in growing the kingdom. Not just souls that will be in heaven, but here on earth. Growing ministries, the establishment of new ministries. Kent Hovind is a spiritual father to many a soul. Many. He's led many people to the Lord. He's discipled thousands of people. The government had no idea what they were doing. And now they created a monster. Now they created something that they couldn't control. It spiraled out of control. And it started exposing their own wicked evil deeds. Now they had a problem on their hands. They had Christians calling courthouses. They had Christians calling state representatives. They had a boulder rolling downhill that they were not going to be able to stop anytime soon. Let's get into some of the interviews.
All right, we have Kent Hovind on the line. He's talking to Nico right now. We're going to put him on the board and go to him as soon as they're ready. He is a political prisoner, and he'll only have 15 minutes on the line with us. We're going to go to Kent Hovind right now. Political prisoner, more than a decade in prison, indicted under structuring that the New York Times will put on screen. Last year admitted is a total criminal fraud. Hearings last month in Congress admitting it's incredible.
Because being in prison did not stop Kent Hovind from doing interviews either.
All right, Dr. Hovind, it's February the 27th, and I've just got a couple of questions for you, sir. Regarding two things. One thing is that it is my understanding, and it just boggles my mind, that this IRS agent Scott Snyder is going to be allowed a special seat at the prosecutor table and will be called in to provide witness testimony. And because he's going to be able to see the other witnesses, it just seems like a completely wrong thing to happen. And I'm curious if you could care to discuss that or comment that.
Hi friends, this is Coach Dave Daubenmire at newswithviews.tv at newswithviews.com. Thanks for tuning in today. You know, I just returned from Pensacola, Florida with a group of friends of mine, and we went down to stand with our friend Dr. Ken Hovind, who's on trial in Pensacola, Florida for the charge of mail fraud. I think it's important that I give you a little bit of information that's certainly been misreported in the press. And anytime you do a Google search or anything like that on Dr. Hovind, the wrong information comes up. Let me make this very clear. Dr. Ken Hovind has served 100 months in jail, not for tax issues. You'll do a Google search and they'll say that he's a tax protester or a tax evasion or whatever. Dr. Ken Hovind has spent 100 months in jail, 8.5 years, for the issue of structuring. And just recently, the Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, John Koskinen, just came out and issued an apology to Americans all across the spectrum for having misused the idea of structuring in seizing bank accounts. If my recollection is correct, it was like 127 people across America last year who had their bank accounts seized because of charges of structuring. So it would be important for us to understand what structuring is. It was a policy that was put in place to help law enforcement deal with drug dealers who were trying to launder money. And the law said that anytime a cash deposit of $10,000 or a cash withdrawal of $10,000 was made, it had to be reported to the IRS. Well, people began to get around that by taking out less than $10,000, maybe $9,500, which is what Dr. Kent Hovind did. Now, there's nothing illegal about doing that. It is his own money. He would go to the bank and he would take out the money, $9,500 a week, maybe, and pay the people that he owed money to, pay the expenses of their ministry, of the people who worked for him, instead of having to do 1099s or whatever was involved with that. Well, the IRS put together this policy based on structuring, used specifically, put in place specifically for drug dealers, and that is what they charged Kent Hovind with, was structuring, not tax evasion. He never evaded any taxes at all. And then to top it off, folks, after Kent Hovind, over a period of several years, took $9,000 a week out of his bank account to pay his bills, he didn't stuff it in a pillow or under a mattress. It was his money that the ministry had earned. After Ken Hovind had amassed about $434,000 in withdrawals over the period of time paying his bills, the IRS said, listen, because that money was involved in structuring, that money belongs to us. And they tried to seize $434,000 from Dr. Hovind. And of course, he didn't have $434,000 because why? They'd spent it. They'd paid it. They weren't trying to hide anything from anybody. So Dr. Hovind, when he was put in jail, then they went about the idea of trying to seize the property to come up with the $434,000. And what Dr. Hovind is on trial today, folks, he is not a tax protester or a tax evader. What Dr. Hovind is on trial today for, and I consider it piling on, is what they called mail fraud from jail. Now, what he did was a perfectly legal action, filing court actions from jail. He's done that for the 8 years he's been in there trying to get himself free. He filed a motion whereby he put into the file of his properties a legal document saying, listen, this property is still being contested. This is not a free and clear property. And so when they would do a title search, someone wanted to buy his property, they'd do a title search. This letter would be in there saying, listen, there's some debate as to who owns this property. Buyer beware. You're buying some property that's still in dispute. Perfectly legal that he did it. But because the judge had told him to stop doing that, stop filing the reports, to stop filing the appeals, they found him in contempt of court. So Kent Hovind is in jail or is in court today for two things: mail fraud. Listen, folks, if he had taken that filing and he had hand carried it to the courthouse, it would not be mail fraud. Do you understand that? It would not be mail fraud. But he couldn't hand carry it. It had to go through the mail. And issue number two, he has the right to appeal while he's in there. But they're also charging him with contempt of court because he continued to exercise his God-given right, his American right to appeal. The First Amendment says the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That's what Kent Hovind has done. Folks, he is not a tax protester. He has not refused to pay his taxes. They have seen $434,000 him already, which was not their money to. They want to put Kent Hovind in jail for an additional 20 years. It's amazing. We had the opportunity to be in the courtroom, spent 3 days down there in support of Dr. Kent Hovind.
Doing what's right. I can't imagine how it couldn't. How can a juror sit there and see, wow, this is the Criminal Investigation Division, IRS agent. Whoa, I better find Hovind guilty or else I'll get audited. I wonder how many trials have been skewed just because of that. I'm not in a position to complain about it or do anything legally about it, but I think everybody ought to be calling Congress saying, hey, would you please investigate? Does this happen at every trial involving the IRS? It probably does. Okay, well then shut the IRS down. Stop. Shut them down. Defund them. Stop. There's other ways to get taxes. We didn't even have these people till the 19...
Now, Kent Hovind is a true American political prisoner. He's going to try to call in from a federal prison. And I don't want to name the federal prison because they'll run in and start harassing him right away. It'll take the bureaucrats a while to figure out where he's at and try to stop the interview. I mean, it's a legal interview, but we've had him try to stop these before. Kent, when they were indicting him a decade ago or more, was on with us. Creation speaker Dr. Kent Hovind has spent already a decade in federal prison, charged up to 100 years for mail fraud. And you look at what he did, it was nothing. He was a science teacher for 15 years, began a full-time creation ministry, became very successful. He debated more than 100 scientists concerning evolution versus creation and created the well-known 7-part video creation series translated in 32 languages. He reached over 1 billion people. He had a very popular theme park that was 501c3, which there's a lot of other Christian theme parks. You're allowed to have that. But you notice you've had thousands, over 10,000 501c3s denied to Christian charities the last 6 years. The number's more like 15,000. The oldest number's about 10. And more than 10,000 groups audited or indicted. Mainline conservative groups, pro-gun groups, pro-life groups, pro-veteran groups. Anything right of Mao Zedong, basically. But Kent Hovind was charismatic, nice, friendly, great guy. I didn't particularly agree with his brand of creationism. I already talked about that. Doesn't matter. I don't think men's interpretation of the Bible or these transhumanist eugenicists and Darwin's view and social Darwinism, I don't agree with that as well. There's clear jumps in all this and manipulations, and we're not being given the truth. I mean, the evolutionists have been caught in so many Piltdown Man and other frauds, but I'm not going to debate all that. The age of the earth, any of that. I've read the Bible. I have my own interpretation, and it's wild. And the globalists believe something similar, but from their perspective. So they don't even believe. All the top genetic engineers people, they believe in transpermia and panspermia and off-world seeding. They don't believe this. But the point is, even if you disagree with Kent Hovind, why is he in prison with 2020 specials about the incredible fraud? He said dinosaurs were around during Noah's time and Adam and Eve before that. What a kook. And he doesn't pay taxes. And he's going to prison. You could go start any church you want and get 501c3. You could teach that Ronald McDonald is the savior. You can teach whatever you want. That's called religious freedom, the First Amendment. But see, he went to prison. He's been set up, so now everybody else is fair game. Who was the minister in Nazi Germany? First they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak up because I wasn't one. Then they came for this group. And finally, when they came for me, there was nobody else left to speak. Now, joining us first, he'll probably ride shotgun with us into Kent being on with us. Mark Adams has been on before. He's writing a book on Congressman Hansen, who I interviewed many years ago. He's sick right now and can't come on. he was indicted multiple times, found not guilty, so they kept arresting him and then driving him around in a truck for months called dieseling until his feet burst. They tortured him in holding cells, you name it, because he was trying to abolish the IRS. You say, why don't more congressmen do that? Because they'll grab you and torture the hell out of you. Federal marshals will. Mark Adams has been fighting for Kent Hovind as well and has the documents and the history. So, Mark, this is about everybody here. But, I mean, such a good, loving, Christian, well-spoken, charismatic, charming guy. I love the fact he's challenging this official religion of Darwinism and evolution as it's taught is just totally false, been proven false. But regardless, even if Kent Hovind was wrong, he has a First Amendment and a right to be a Christian that teaches his faith, just like Muslims have a right to, their faith. But there's a war on Christians. But let's get into his case for folks that don't know about it right now. Mark Adams.
Well, Alex, it was in 2006 when a jackbooted commie Nazi government Gestapo goon squad arrested Pastor Kent Hovind and his wife Jo at gunpoint inside their home in the dark of night. And then later on that year, Pastor Hovind was convicted on a 58-count indictment. Now, 45 of those counts had to do with so-called structuring. That is, Dr. Hovind was withdrawing money from his bank account in order to fund the needs of his ministry. And for these withdrawals, they were typically more than $5,000, but less than $10,000. And because he was doing that, the government was pursuing him as if he was part of a drug cartel or a terrorist organization.
A guy with no criminal record, a school teacher who had a successful ministry in a theme park, and we just put on screen the New York Times. Let's put it on screen. The headline, Law Lets IRS Seize Accounts on Suspicion, No Crime Reported, that talks about old ladies with tiny businesses. I mean, I pull out cash all the time to give bonuses to people at Christmas and stuff. I mean, I have $300 to employees. It's like $10,000, $15,000 to get all that out. That's not structuring. That's after-tax money. But this is how they use the, quote, rules, not the law, in a reign of terror. Go ahead.
Exactly. The IRS has a reputation of ruthlessly using these so-called structuring laws to terrorize innocent citizens. There was hearings about this last month, and the upshot of it was that the IRS would try to curtail.
They said, we're going to stop
activity.
doing it and cut it back, and we're sorry for 34,000 innocent people having their lives ruined, or people we threw in prison for no reason, and all our fake juries and the rest of it, because they even go further. But it's just like the ATF last week saying, we won't ban your bullets. They're back this week. And this is a criminal operation.
Are you guys following my pattern? Kent Hovind was done wrong. And what's worse is the government knows they've done wrong, and instead of making it right by paying him restitution, they have shut down YouTube channel after YouTube channel. They have canceled website after website. They have rejected evidence after evidence. There is more blood on the hands of the United States government over Kent Hovind than there is with Donald Trump. Kent Hovind is the original martyr. And we tried to warn you that it would start with Kent and that next they'd be here for us.
Indeed. And in fact, if you look into the court case itself, it gets even worse. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld his conviction on all of the 45 so-called structuring charges. But in 2013, the 11th Circuit overturned a guilty verdict on a separate case. This was U.S. versus Lang, a separate case of structuring. They overturned the verdict because of the way the federal prosecutors mishandled the case.
And there were clearly orders to go and get him because he was articulate, good looking, reaching over 1 billion people with his ministry. He was incredibly successful. And so that's why they came after him.
Indeed. And now, and like I said, the bulk of the charges are these so-called structuring charges. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the conviction, but then a little more than a year later, when the same kind of case came before them, they overturned the conviction on this guy, Mr. Lang, because of the way the federal prosecutors mishandled his case. But the procedures that the prosecutors used on Mr. Lang were exactly the same procedures that they use on Hovind, but yet they will not apply that ruling retroactively. So, in other words, they overturned the structuring charges against Lang, but even though the same kind of prosecutor misconduct was being applied in Pastor Kent Hovind's case.
Now, something I found to be remarkably surprising was the sheer amount of evidence that has been scrubbed or removed off the internet. And I'm serious when I say I have never seen anything like it in my life. In order to make this documentary, I had to go on search engines that were predominantly popular in other countries. I had to search so many back channels of the internet that you guys know just to find regular footage that would have been all over YouTube 10 years ago. There has been so much information hid from we the people, so much information on the trial of Kent Hovind hidden from you, Joe Plummer. There has been such a deceitful cover-up of wrongdoing on the part of the United States government that there is a massive conspiracy to hide what they did.
Hello, Nikki. How's it going?
Hey, man. What's up?
Not much. You new to the channel?
Where's the audio? Can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything right now?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No.
But how can we tell him? Let's put him backstage and see.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now, Nikki? Can you hear me?
I don't know why I can't hear you guys.
Try logging in again if you can't hear us.
Well, I'm here to say that Rick Cutler killed Charlie Kirk. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I've been doing 6 hours a day of research since the day Charlie Kirk died. I'm a private investigator with 11 years of experience, and I'm a 2-time presidential candidate. That's my real name down there. And I'm here to tell you that Rick Cutler assassinated Charlie Kirk with a palm pistol, right like that. You can check the trajectory. The keyhole entry in the neck was due to the ricochet off the necklace. The palm pistol fired 32 caliber round, striking the necklace. You can see the bullet on frame if you pause it. And all the evidence is there on Twitter, on X. If you guys want to join the conversation, you can just look me up or you can look up Rick Cutler and you will see numerous videos showing him assassinate Charlie Kirk, who I knew personally. I've met him 6 times. So anyways, guys, I've been politically active since 2015. I'm not lying. You can verify me. You can look me up. Thanks again. I appreciate it. I couldn't hear what you guys were saying, so I hope I wasn't interrupting anybody, but I'm going panel to panel to panel to spread the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk for freedom.
You can't hear me still, huh? Okay. Well, yes. Well, thank you for doing that. Although this was definitely unscheduled, it is welcome.
I can't hear you, Achilles.
You can't
I
hear me
think
now?
it's on my end.
Well, it was on Nikki's end too. Can you hear me? Meow, meow. What's going on? If he can't hear me when he comes back, I'm going to refresh here because it happens here as well. It happens when you share your screen, is what we've come to realize. So, can you hear me now, Steven?
Achilles, do me a favor because I can't hear you and I've refreshed several times.
Refresh.
Can you go try to refresh? Yeah, there you go. All right. So, in the meantime, there is a special event. No one's watching this anyways, so
I was like, hold maybe. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? 1 2 1 2. Let's go backstage. Man, the technical glitches.
Oh, you know what, Achilles? I'm so stupid. I think it's it's my computer, like where I plug in my headphones. If I twist it a certain way, I lose audio, and I keep forgetting to check that before refreshing 1,000 times.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you great. I'm so stupid.
So did you hear what Nikki said?
No, I didn't. I didn't get to hear any of that.
He said he is a private investigator and he has been investigating the.
Yeah.
He has been Pause the video because I'm hearing it.
Okay.
And he's going panel to panel to tell people his findings, which is who was the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And he says it's that guy who I don't remember his name, the one who's playing with his sleeve right at the time of the shooting, which we thought is a signal. But for me, it's not about who pulled the trigger; it's who gave him the gun. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't care as much about the henchman as much as who gave the henchman his orders.
Right.
Yeah.
Same here.
So this is interesting. This is going to be a debate with Joseph.
That's not Joseph.
No, Robin is moderating.
Oh, it's gonna be Joseph with Kentucky.
Yeah.
All right. At least Kentucky atheist can carry a conversation.
True. Yeah. And Joe is nice. He's cool.
Yep.
But I don't want to steal views, so I'm not going to play the audio. I'm just kind of having it in the background until Joseph shows up in the room.
All right. Well, not only aren't we going to steal views, but we are advertising it and telling people where to go. You can zoom in a little bit with holding the control button pressed and scrolling in. Oh, it is on the vertical position. I see.
Yeah,
Go.
And I don't know how to get it off this.
It's not you. It's whoever does the stream, which is Kentucky. He made it for cell phones, cell phone friendly.
Stupid cell phones.
By the way, I was given a tip that you're gonna have to pay very, very much for me to give it here.
Okay. How much is very much? Because I have virtually nothing.
You're gonna have to come to Greece. Bring Krista and Bobby too. It's a lot of money.
What's okay? Well, I'm definitely not going to ask you on this stream because this one for sure would have been flagged by the FBI.
So there is a solution for the problem of Emacs that you can't ban someone.
Ooh, yeah.
There is a solution, bro. So when are you traveling?
Wait, what? Why do I have to come to Greece
You
to
want the
find
tip.
out how to ban someone on
You want the
EV
tip,
Mux?
don't you? Don't you
Yeah,
want?
but that's a expensive tip.
I told you.
Man,
It
man.
was in the signed agreement. You don't just press F8 and proceed. You just have to read through. I gave you the terms. So
Well, that will be good because there are certain people who try to come on repeatedly, even after you kick them out, like they don't get the hint.
Yeah,
Bruce.
Something
Baptist Bruce.
stuck in my throat there.
Yeah, that's
So,
terrible, man. That sounds terrible.
yeah, so there's a way. I don't know where it is, but you probably find it in a bit. There is a make a new link somewhere. You can scramble the link, make a new one, so that the old link doesn't work.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know where that is, but it's there. Maybe let me see. Invite guest. No, I don't see something here. Oh yes, regenerate guest URL. There it is. So you go to invite guest, regenerate guest, and if you don't throw the new one, regenerate guest URL. If you don't throw the new one out there, it's down. It is.
Oh, that is clever.
It is
Okay.
over. All right. Thank Daniel for giving it to us. He figured it out first.
Daniel? So Daniel's using EV Mux?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I was trying to save it for Christian channels, but I guess.
What?
I was wanting all the Christian channels to take over EV Mux.
Well, okay. Even
I know, man. It's hard, right? It's hard to even engage on that topic because we just don't know. But it doesn't look good.
Nope, doesn't look good. But there's still something with Daniel that I like. There are some things he does, like once you're in his panel, he has some rules, but he doesn't abide by the rules. For example, I went there one day and this other Orthodox came in and they both started praying to Mary. Please, Mary, intercede for us and forgive us because you're great. And I'm like, this is so disrespectful. I'm like, here, I'm not allowed to talk against Mary, but you get to pray on Mary when I'm here. So, and he's a little bit rude sometimes, but overall, he's not.
I'm still permanently banned from his channel.
Yeah.
And I don't think he comes on here. I don't think he will come on here either.
Yeah, that relates to the fact that we will keep exposing Orthodoxy and they hate that. So no Catholics come around here, no Orthodox come around here. They try to pretend that we don't exist, but ask us if we care.
And they know they're afraid of us. So, we just know.
So anyway, I was kind of enjoying what we were watching. Did you tell people where they can find the documentary?
Well, that was just episode 3 of all 5 parts, but they can find it at the Unmasking Kent Hovind YouTube channel. Or if you want to buy a hard copy, you can go to drdino.com and then go to their store, and they have Unmasking Kent Hovind up there.
All right. So want to proceed? Watch a little bit more.
That was actually all of it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm down for reviewing anything or talking about any topics you have. I guess we'll stay away from Mother Mary. That one makes people cry.
Yeah, at the same time, I'm doing other stuff here as well, trying to get some pictures of something that I'm trying to sell. I'm trying to sell stuff because I've realized when I had my garage burned, it is a pity to hang on to things when you don't know if you're going to use them in the future. Don't rely on the future that much. Just sell them, make money. Because I've been gathering stuff like, you never know when I'm gonna need this one, you never know when I'm gonna need that one, and then a forest fire comes and you lose everything. So
just sell your telescope and you can buy yourself a rocket ship and your mom another house and still have some money left over.
yeah, telescope ain't never getting sold. I'm not selling the telescope because I know for sure that one day they're going to pretend they made it to the moon. So I have this secret weapon that I'm gonna like, can I take a peek of the landing spot? Thank you. You know, so this one's done. It can't be sold, unfortunately.
Well, leave your telescope to me in your will, so that way after you get Hillary Clinton, I can get it and I'll sell it.
All right. Consider it done.
I'll pay the shipping. That's probably only going to be $6,000.
It's actually cheaper to buy it from the US, if just for the shipping part. It is an American brand, by the way. Mead.
Oh, that's so weird.
Mead is an American brand, and I've paid more here than what you pay to buy the same telescope because of taxes and all that, and import charges and all that. So, shipping it back, that's not worth it. Plus, it is too technical. It's old school. Now there are newer telescopes that they don't need alignment. You just connect your cell phone to it with Wi-Fi, and you have all the sky through the cell phone. You don't need to spend.
Wow.
Yeah. So for people that are new into astronomy, it's way better to not have something complicated, But I would say that you have a lot more abilities with a telescope like this. It's like saying that a new driver should not drive stick; they should drive an automatic.
Mm-hmm.
But if you drive an automatic, then you can never drive a stick. If you learn on an automatic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Astrophotography and astronomy, not astronomy. I mean, you can read about stuff that doesn't change, but the way to operate telescopes is once you go stick, all telescopes. But once you go smartphone, then they put you on an older telescope and you're like completely useless. You don't know what to do if you don't have a smartphone. So, if I was buying one for a child that just to get them into astronomy, yeah, I would go for the smartphone option, definitely. But
yeah, because it sounds simpler to use, and you could probably put in coordinates or point to a star on your cell phone and have the camera or the telescope automatically direct to it.
Kinda. I wish it did that. It doesn't. What it does is that you can now turn it with your hand freely, but you see through the smartphone where it is aiming to, where it is at. So it is a little bit of assistance, but it's not guided. Mine is guided. It has a computer in it. It doesn't need a smartphone. So anyway, how did we get the telescopes? I'm right now opening up a lens of a DSLR, trying to fix it again. So I've tried like twice.
Well, at most, we've had 2 viewers for the past hour, and now we have 0.
Oh.
What would you feel about cutting this stream and then headed over to Kentucky Atheist to either support Joseph if he gets there or fill in for him? We'll ask for the link and we'll go have this discussion with Kentucky Atheist.
I'm fine. Let's do.
You want to do that?
Yep. Let's end it.
All right. Let's head over to Kentucky Atheist and I'll see you there. I'll ask her for the link.
All right, bro.